Hey everyone, I wanted to do a video on all the routine maintenance tasks on my zero-turn lawnmower. Doing mechanical work is one of my least favorite things to do, and every time I get to these tasks, I'm trying to remember, okay, what kind of oil do I need, what kind of filter, and all that. So, and it's not like readily available if you do an internet search. So I figured, hey, why not do a video? I'll put all the stuff in the description. This will help me, and maybe it'll help you. Um, anyways, this is a Craftsman Z6600, and then it's a 54-inch deck, and then the motor is a Kohler 7000 series, the KT735. That's the model. So I made a list of the routine tasks that I'm going to be performing on this, and I'll have that in the description. So I'll start out with the oil change, and as I go through each of these tasks, I'll list, the type of oil or, type of filter, type of part. If you do a search for Kohler engines, like type of oil, you'll see like a product being sold, Kohler SAE 10W30. So I didn't go out and buy that because typically that'll be sold at like your home improvement store, and it'll cost more. I've used just various types of 10W30 before, types that you would, buy at your auto parts store, and hadn't had any problems. The other thing that you can do when you go into a home improvement store, and you go like into their lawn equipment aisle, you'll see the oil filter that they'll sell for your lawnmowers, and typically it's like $15. But if you go into a auto parts store, if you can kind of size up the equivalent oil filter, it's usually about $10. So, and that's what I was able to do. So I don't know if there's any inner workings within the filter, but I have used this type of filter versus the one that Kohler recommends that you use, or the one that Kohler sells, and it's worked just fine. So this is the FRAM pH 3614. Okay, so in order to get the oil out, you're going to get your oil pan in place, and then there's your hose, your drain hose right there, here in the back to the left side. You'll secure the that top bolt there with the 3/4 wrench, and then this here is a 7/16. So you're going to secure the top and then unscrew the plug with the 7/16 wrench. And we're just going to let that drain, and we're going to also move on over to the oil filter to get that out. So from the back, the oil filter can be accessed from the right side, and actually you could just kind of come in, this way down here and grab it. But I just want to show you something real quick. So that the oil is going to spill out onto your mount here, or what do you want to call it, and so there's this hole kind of made for the sake of allowing that oil to drain through there, and then so I'm positioned my oil pan to catch it, to be underneath that hole. So I'm gonna go ahead and untighten that. And the great thing about these FRAM filters is they have this grip here in the back, and you can should be able to get it off by hand. Yep, there it goes. So you can see the oil dripping out now, or pouring out, and see it's going right to that drain hole there. I'm just going to get that and put it in the oil pan. So I'm just letting the oil from the drain line and then from where the filter was mounted, just giving it time to drain. And so in the meantime, I can move on to changing the air filter. I just want to add that I change my oil once a season, and also for the air filter, it's also a recommendation for once a season. So for the air filter, I found this at Lowe's. It's Kohler. So, and then it shows the motor series. So it fits. This is from KT715 through 745. So my series of engines, as I showed you the model number there, fits in with that series. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the back here off to get the air filter in place. And this is probably overdue. And as you can see, I kind of got a broken piece here. You can see it's dirty. Needs replaced. So grab me a paper towel and I'm going to clean this up. Okay, so looks pretty good now. So the outer filter comes inside here, so you're just going to pull that out and you'll wrap it around the outside. Okay, so it's wrapped around, it's good to go now. So I'm just going to, it's kind of a fitting down here, just going to slip onto that. The oil's down to a drip, so I'm going to throw that plug back in. And same thing over here. Throw that plug back in. And obviously I'll use those the same two wrenches to tighten that back up. Okay, so I got my filter here, the new one. And I've always been taught to take a little bit of the spent oil and go ahead and lubricate your seal all the way around. And I'll go ahead and insert that. And this one, you just kind of have to feel around for it. And 5 minutes later, finally got it. And then it's just a matter of hand tightening. Once we get close here, we'll just hand tighten it because we can get it. And with the grip there, it makes it really easy to get it good and tight. Yep, that should be good. Take my oil stick out here. And we'll get some oil on there. It takes 2 quarts of oil. I bought 1 quart, but I happen to have some 10W30 in the garage, so that's why I'm doing this video. It's just going to help me to remember, you know, this once a year when I have to do all this stuff to make sure I have all the right stuff on hand. Okay, so next up is the fuel filter replacement. So that's your fuel filter right there. And I gotta admit that this is actually going to be the first time I've replaced it. I've had the lawnmower for like 6 years, going on 7, and haven't replaced it. And this is something you should be doing on a yearly basis, as I'm finding out now that I'm researching this. So I found the fuel filter, a universal fuel filter, at Lowe's, and as you can see there, it fits a 1/4 inch fuel line or a 5/16 fuel line. So that's one thing I had to go and find. I wanted to verify that this is a 1/4 inch fuel line after doing a lot of searching, because I find the Kohler website, the PDFs, I had trouble downloading them to my phone, and it's just kind of hard to find information out there. But I finally found information to confirm that this is a 1/4 inch fuel line on Walmart's website when I looked up their fuel filters. So thanks, Walmart. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and get my channel locks. I got my channel locks ready to go right here. And I'm going to take the clamp off by squeezing that with the channel locks. And I'm going to hold the hose up to try to prevent some fuel from coming out. So I'll have to do that on both sides. There's a clamp on both sides there. Okay, so I got that clamp slid back. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And then I just put the hose up like that. I don't got any fuel leaking or anything, so works out pretty well. And I'll just go ahead and do the same thing on this side with the other clamp. Okay, so I got that old fuel filter off. And keep in mind, you may have some fuel come dripping out when you get the fuel filter off. So here's the new fuel filter, and so this pointed end here will be connected to that source hose, so the hose coming from the gas, the fuel tank, and then this side will is the side that'll be going to the fuel line going into the carburetor. Just as a point of reference, because some of you may think something looks different about my lawnmower here, but I've already removed my old battery because I gotta replace that, which you'll see here in a few minutes. Yeah, so that was removed. So, but just as a point of reference. But I'll go ahead and get that on. Okay, so I got the new filter on, but there's still a little gap right there because I want to get the hose all the way on to the, I guess you call it the fuel filter sleeve. But it's there's a mount right here, and so I can't get a good enough grip to get that slid on all the way. So I'm gonna just go ahead and use this is a 5/16. Now that I got that off, I can move that back. I'll squeeze that clamp back, and that'll just give me good grip to get that all the way on there. Put the fuel filter in place, and then got the clamps on each side. Got it mounted back in place. One other thing, so yeah, I did use channel locks, but these longer type needle nose pliers came in real handy too for the clamps, so because of the tight space you're dealing with here. Up, I'm going to be replacing the spark plugs. I've seen it suggested that you replace the spark plugs on a lawnmower once a season. Like the fuel filter, this is the first time I'm replacing the spark plugs. The lawnmower has done just fine. But I figured, hey, it's maybe time to get some new ones. These are 6 years old, so see, there's a number. Engine, and so this spark plug came out of here, and I'll go ahead and show you how I took that out. So there's one spark plug here, and then there's another one right here. So I'm going to pop the spark plug wire off. Okay, it comes off pretty easy. One thing I'm going to check, so if you look in there, look at the cap inside there and see it's pretty nice and shiny. So no corrosion there, because that might be something you want to clean out. Make sure there's a good clean contact between the spark plug and the wire. So that's good. And then I'm going to use a socket. So this is a 5/8 here. Once that's loose, you should be able to just spin the socket. It might make it easier. Now I'll just get it with my hand. Okay, there we go. So we'll get the new ones in. So here's that new spark plug. We'll go ahead and pop it on in. Then you can pop the socket on it. Just hand tighten it with the socket on. And then throw the socket wrench on. And just a matter of making it good and snug. I've seen, so they have torque wrenches, but I've seen where mechanics just say, yeah, just make it nice and snug. Lubricants that you can put on the contacts here, but I don't have any, so I'm just going to go with it like this. And there you have it, and I'll just do the same thing on the other side.